Alrighty. Hi, I'm Beck Lane, and this is Catalyst and Company, formerly Studio 120, but Catalyst and Company, where we're trying to help each other become the catalysts in each other's lives, or we're trying to act as the catalysts in each other's lives, and catalysts in our own, and become the artists we've always wanted to be. Hopefully we're doing that. Anyway, ew, these are dirty. Behind me, excuse me, is a painting I've been working on. Behind me is a painting I've been working on for a pretty long time, for a couple of weeks, I think. And for me, that's really, really, really long. But I'm pretty limited on materials, and this was my last canvas that I can buy for a while. So it mentally, having that kind of confinement by not having more surfaces to paint on has constricted, my thought process and constricted my mobility and motion. So I've been working on this for a while, but it's also been good in a way because I've had to figure and reconfigure the figure as well as her face. And it's boiled down to now at this point in time, because I felt more and more constricted, it's boiled down to me just sometimes making a couple of brush strokes and then walking away for a while. And then coming back and making a few more brush strokes and walking away for a while. And as usual, things weren't right. Things are never right the first 50 times around. So it's picking up the canvas, moving it around the studio, and tilting it on its side, pulling out the reference material and working at it, working from the reference material at the same angle that the canvas is at. So it's turning it sideways, turning it at another angle, turning it upside down. I feel that I've found the structure of her face, the structure of her coat, and also the lights and darks in the furs, which I had all off for a long time, for at least a couple of weeks. But now that I've done that and I've really looked, I've pulled the figure. Her arm was somewhere down here. Her arm is up higher. She's pulled in tighter. Her head at one point looked enormous. It still kind of does, but she does have a very petite figure in the reference material. So she's kind of been all over the place. And I've done what I always do, which is I've painted in mineral spirits and oils, because that makes it easier for me to wipe it down. Make a mistake, wipe it down. Make a mistake, wipe it down. It's easier to paint over, it's easier to correct if you're just painting with mineral spirits and oils. But once I became firmer in my decisions and what I thought I was seeing correctly, I started, or feeling correctly in the reference material, I started adding Neo McGilp to the mixture. Gamblin Artist Colors Neo McGilp, my favorite medium. So I've added the Neo McGilp in the background, throughout the background, which actually helps smooth out a lot of the lines, enhance the color. And again, the Neo McGilp allows light to go through the oils down to the aerosol layer underneath and bounce back out again. So in different light, there's colors that will glow, including some of the oranges and a little bit of the reds, which you can't see with the camera. You also can't see with the camera really all the detail in her face, all the brush detail. But again, I've been kind of taking it slow. This has been, her face has been a lot of painting and repainting and wiping it down and painting it again and wiping it down and painting it, wiping it down. It's been a daily struggle. And it got to a point where I was really, once again, ready to tear apart the canvas and start all over. What's harder for me is this is one canvas instead of two. I prefer working on 2, 3, 4 different canvases in a painting, depending on how many figures there are. But traditionally 2 for one figure. It's just how my head works. The more complicated things are, the easier it is for me to paint. But in doing so, in painting and wiping it down, painting, wiping it down, painting, wiping it down, I also lost the texture. I really enjoy, for me as a painter, I really enjoy the roughness in canvas material. It's harder to work with, and for some reason, that difficulty makes it easier for me. I'm being really cautious at this point about what I do, because it's gone from really, really rough, which I totally enjoy and comfortable with, to this super smooth surface where everything just, it has a different feel, and I don't really love it. I don't love that smooth texture. That's just me as a painter. I know a lot of people love smooth, but I don't like smooth. I don't do, for people who use a smoother texture, they're usually far more traditional painters, and they put on a varnish and they want it to be shiny, and they like that, usually it's a more realistic, hyper-realistic artist, whereas mine is more abstract realism. People like smooth canvases are traditional, hyper-realistic or realistic painters. So for me, not so much, but for other people, yay. But I am taking it step by step. I am going slowly. What I want to do, because up close she looks totally different. Up close you can see all these brush strokes and these colors, and yet we get a little further away and they're lost. When I started her, for the first week and a half or so that I was doing this, her face was too light. I was focused on just painting her face, and we know better. We know better than to do that. I was firmly focused on her face, and the rest of it was decoration, which is wrong. No, there's no other word for it but wrong. However, in taking the canvas, turning it, moving it around the room, and also working on the hat, which I hadn't until a couple of days ago. I hadn't barely touched the hat. I was missing certain anchors in the layout and in the lights and darks. But now removing the lighter layers and going darker, now I can build on that, because it's light on dark, not light, high, and then we fix it from there. We just kind of add darkers. It's start off dark, add lights. So that's where we are. I'm reasonably happy where she is. She is not finished, but I don't want to go back into it today and kind of destroy all the progress that I've made. So she's just going to sit here for a little bit. You're going to sit here and just think about things. But on the whole, there we are. And again, once I get more canvases, then I can just start producing work again. This is part of a larger project that's in the planning, and so there we are. I'm working with people on a larger project, and I'm just going to wait. That's all I can do. It's unfortunate, but that's what I have to do. So that's that. And the other thing, I talk about going into a hidey hole. It's me just like being overwhelmed with depression. It's just me being overwhelmed with depression. That's what I mean about going in a hidey hole. I have things to think about, and I have to consider. Oh my God, I'm thirsty, but where's I misplaced my cup. It's me being overwhelmed with depression and barely being able to function. So, hi, how do you do? So I had a number of things happen. I had this huge opportunity was ripped out from underneath me and several friends. It was a massive project, massive opportunity. We all thought, we're out of here. We're not going to be stuck in this position where we're vulnerable and we're just tap dancing as fast as we can, hoping things get better. We were no longer going to be in that position. We were no longer going to be relegated to the sidelines. Why are these? Got fingerprints and crap all over these again. We were no longer going to be relegated to the sidelines, because we were going to be at the core of this huge project that was being invested in. And that got ripped out from underneath us, and I know it sent me down a hidey hole. It made things very difficult for me, because I really not sat around, but I'm like, why? At first it didn't hit me hard. if you've been watching these videos, you know the rug has been pulled out from underneath me dozens of times, and on very, very high levels, or levels that could push me further up the ladder, some on a very high international scale, through nothing I've done, through no fault of my own, like so many artists. It's just like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. Boink, or we're not going to do this. Boink, we know we promised you all this shit, and you've been planning it forever, or, you know, and you were ready to go, and more importantly, you were ready to take, for me, this is what I'm thinking, ready to take dozens of artists on this ride with you. But you know what? I'm bored and I don't want to do this. So boink, there goes the funding. Boink, there goes the investment. Boink, there goes the project. There goes everything you've been planning. We had a small core of artists that were involved in this, and we had pretty big plans. So that went away. And then a few other things happened where I got so desperately, desperately, desperately sad. So I've been thinking a lot, as we do. I've been thinking a lot, like I gotta grab a clean cloth. How does this just keep happening? Grabbing a clean cloth. There we go. Hopefully this is clean. Because I've got fingerprints all over my eyes, my glasses, and I'm not seeing things clearly, which could be a metaphor for what I'm talking about. Let's see how we do. Yeah, I still got goop. How does this just keep happening? And I'm sure this happens to you too. Where you think, life has finally seen me, life has recognized me, I've been doing this long enough, I'm fulfilling that thing that people say, do what you love and everything else will follow, which quite honestly, I'm like, oh, bullshit on that one. But I used to think, you know what, they're right. And then it's just, there goes the rug, and it all falls away. Not on this project, by the way. Let's keep that in mind. But there's always that, like, really, because we watch so many people barely invest themselves, and they're celebrated, and they get these huge opportunities, and they get awards and money, and, you know, they get all the things. I don't need the fancy things like that, but, like, just the income to be able to keep creating, keep doing, and the support to keep going, keep building, and bring people with you. You know, so many of us have to look through this. And after a while, it's exhausting. So I've been sitting and thinking, why? What is it about me? What is it about me that makes life say, yeah. Gonna put you on the sidelines. And I think a lot too about our little friend Vincent, and how he must have felt having the rug pulled out from underneath him, if there was a rug pulled out from underneath him. You know, there he is in the fields working and building a whole new movement in art. And his life ended with him poor and barely being recognized at all on any level. I don't think, and I'm going to get back to it, I will. When people talk to me about Vincent van Gogh, I know that he did sell art. When he was living in London, and he was in the middle of the city with all these artists, he did sell art at shows that, you know, at shows in London. But as soon as he got out of that little cluster, everything evaporated for him. And less sophisticated people couldn't see the work, the brilliance in what he was doing, which we now go, of course he was brilliant, they're idiots. But they couldn't see beyond what they knew. So when people talk to me about Vincent, I tell them it wasn't a gun that killed him. It was ambivalence. It was disregard. It was disrespect. That's what killed him. His heart broke to the point it was irreparable. Excuse me. I don't cry often when I talk about it, but it's true. It wasn't the gunshot that killed him. It was 1,000 cuts. It was years of him pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and knowing his value, knowing his strengths, knowing his weaknesses, but knowing his strengths. He completely understood what he gave to this world. He completely understood why he was painting. But it was the blindness around him, the blindness in society and culture that killed him. So I've been trying to think, why? In all these promises and plans, everything, that's dangled in front of us. One day. In all our hard work trying to get to the one day, why? Why does it always disappear? And why is that attention put onto other artists or other people? So what is it about me exactly, is what I've been trying to figure out. What is it about me exactly that says, no, it's okay, you can leave me to rot. I can just sit here by myself and rot. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way. I have friends who try and tell me, I do have friends that try and tell me, well, if you didn't attach your face to the artwork, then you could be any gender, any age, any race. Yeah, but to me that's disingenuous, and it shows a bit of cowardice, and I'm not going to do that. It's not up to me. I don't want to fool people, and it's not up to me to decide whether I have value or not. It's apparently the outside world, even though I know my value, like little Vincent, it's not my problem if people see this and can't see the value in the work. Just because I don't look like Kim Kardashian or, some handsome male artist. It's not my problem. But I've had people say, don't attach your looks, don't make the videos, don't do this, don't do that, don't do everything you're doing. Well, what if we learned from Pink, our girl Pink? She was put in the situation I've been in many times, whereas if you do this, if you relinquish everything that you are, everything that you feel, your interests, and just produce this particular type of work that we want, we will make you successful. Well, I can tell you that has never worked out, because the people that push you to push yourself to the sidelines are the ones that always pull the rug out from underneath. At least these are still gross, at least in my experience. So I'm thinking, just like, why? I've tried to be a team player. I do a lot of media stuff when I feel like it. The social media, I've just gotten to a point where I'm like, not doing TikTok. So, why? Why not me? And I want you to start thinking about, why not me? Why not me? And I actually started writing in a notebook and also on Facebook, because I can organize my thoughts better in a post on Facebook. I write a little essay and figure it out. And I actually one day was in my sadness and being down a hidey hole and all that, I was actually able to pinpoint at least 3 different instances where I was told explicitly, you will not be part of the group. When I was 4, I was told by one of my siblings, I don't want to get too far into it, but it was an important date, and she looked at me and said, "You're not coming. You're not invited. I hate you. I wish we were dead." And this is a much older sibling. And she carried that through, the sibling carried that through out our relationship together. But it also turned into a pig pile of family members doing the same thing. So it left me confused and really angry, and I became an alcoholic and, you know, all the good stuff, the typical stuff, because I didn't know any other way to be. I was trying to work through it. Happened again, explicitly in front of the entire family, again, when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And in this one instance, no, I was 13, maybe 12. It was a pig pile of people being mocked, ridiculed by pretty much everyone in the entire family. And I'd forgotten about all of this. Again, with a sexual assault by family member, and I was blamed for it. Or no, a sexual assault by a neighbor, sorry, and I was blamed for it. Okay, you know, where do you go when it happens over and over and over and over again? So I've been writing these things through and trying to figure out, oh, that's a scratch. Trying to figure out how I figured out what the barriers were. You don't belong, you're not wanted, blah, blah, blah. Got it. I actually did pinpoint a number of days, almost exactly, where I took on that feeling of you're never going to be, not accepted, but you're never going to be of value. Well, shame on those people. I've been thinking a lot lately, so shame on them. The shame is theirs. It is not mine. They compounded the problem. It just hammered me till I was broken over and over and over and over again. And then blamed me when I couldn't figure out how to pull myself together. I couldn't figure out how to move through the world. Shame on them. If you're as broken as I have been, and still am, the shame is not yours. We don't need to be accepted in every group. We don't need to be validated by every group. The family being the core, the most important one. But if they've relegated you to the sidelines, you just stay there till we get to you. You just stay over there. And figure out what's going to make us want to accept, or I hate that, but want to include you. You just stay there. Shame on them. Shame on them. But that's what I know for me, that's in all this thinking, and this is what I want you to start processing. Ugh, another word, catchphrase. Processing. I want you to start processing. When did it start? And it's not until we know when it started that we can make it end. But it's really been a relief to go, oh yeah, I remember the day. I remember exactly the conversation that told me I was nothing. And that I was nothing and I wouldn't be included. And what started a theme that's run throughout my life. So psychology 101 here, and I'm tired of it. That's the bottom line is, okay, I found the barrier. I've been able to take it apart. I've been able to look at it. And now it's, how do we get where we want to be? I haven't figured that part out yet. I haven't. But I know for me, and I've been doing this for a long time, but kind of in a windmill tilt, or Don Quixote tilting at windmills kind of way. I've been doing that for decades. Trying to break through those barriers. I forgot what I was going to say. It was something about Don Quixote. But, okay, never mind. I lost it. I've been trying to figure out how to be part of the crowd, how to be part of the core, or how to build a core around me, or, whatever, to help move me in my artwork up these pretend ladders that we have. How to be included. I can't figure it out yet. Oh God, I was being so poignant. Damn it. I'm gonna go shower. Anyway, yeah, so we can't get there till we figure out what the barriers are and the box that we've been placed in. And okay, this is not gonna end on a poignant note. Oh, I know what it is. Here we go, I got it. Decades ago, and I know this is almost a half hour long. Decades ago, I really just stopped dealing with people who pushed me to the sidelines or were abusive or, just had me on a mental and emotional tether. I stopped, and it felt so much better. It feels so much better to not have that mental emotional tie. And I've only got a couple people left who I have that mental emotional tie with, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. But I know I don't want to wake up every day going like this. Ooh, today's the day. Maybe today's the day I'll be the lucky one. Maybe today's the day I'll be the lucky one and we'll be pulled into the core. No one should have to live their life that way. On the sidelines going, maybe today if I dance like a happy hamster, or I dress right, or I look right, or I have enough money in my bank account, I'll be the one. No one should have to live their life that way. So I want you to start, because I've spent decades doing this. It's like, please, 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 please. I'm a person in this world who doesn't deserve it. Sorry. Because in my value system, I know from the bottom of my heart, and I've proved it over and over again, I would never treat anyone like that. Not in a million years. So I need to be treated the way I treat other people. Figured it out, looked at the barrier, broke it into pieces, hopefully. Now it's how do we get from the sidelines to the center, or if not the center, yes, the center. Never mind. We're not going to falter and accept anything less. How do we get from the sidelines to the center? That's it. Okay. So that and that. I'm going to go shower now. Have a good think. When was that point in time? What was the circumstance that put you in this box that you're stuck in? Who were the people? Take it apart, remove them from your life. You will feel so much better. But yeah, don't let people hold the mental and emotional tie over you. If you're better looking, if you're more successful, if you're more like us, because they're never going to. I'll tell you right now from experience, they're not going to. They're not going to make you part of the group. So let's make our own core. How's that? All right, so anyway, it's been 30 minutes of me babbling. That's my lecture. It bottled up. I haven't done this for a bit, so it bottled up, and there it is. I wanted to give full formed thoughts or part of them. I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst & Company or Studio 120. If you'd like to help support Studio 120, which I desperately need, by the way, while I wait for funding on 2 other projects that I am now involved in. If no offense meant, oh God, that came out all wrong. But anyway, if you'd like to help Studio Catalyst and Company, all the links are down below. We've got Patreon, Cash App, PayPal, and TeePublic, where you can buy images of my work printed on items, on coffee mugs, tote bags, as posters, prints, etc. Or just contact me. All right? Take care. All my information is down below. Blah, blah, blah. Carrie, ready? Here we go. Mirror, mirror, mirror. Boink.